Hi, the Kodansha House 2025 had officially ended yesterday. Since it was over, I want to be bold and share my honest thoughts on my experience at the Kodansha House and tell you why they disappointed me. I went to the Kodansha House last year. It was thoughtful, immersive, even though it was a smaller place. But everything there was alive, and it set up to my expectation for this year. But this year, I really feel like none of these installations really left an impression, even though the venue were bigger. There wasn't a single standout attraction. Why is the Attack on Titan setup exactly the same as last year? I don't get it. Even though Attack on Titan is their biggest title and they want to showcase it again, you can use the same setup, you can add on to it to make it more unique, more special. If I wear their shoes, I will borrow costumes from the Japanese stage play. I will borrow the survey crop uniform, the medieval gear. Maybe I can also create one where the visitor can wear and feel the weights and even take pictures with it, spray some gas for fun. And that's gonna be photo shooting opportunities for social media buzz. And I can even create a 3D models of Aaron's head in the last scenes and put it next to the exhibition board that they have with Mikasha illustrations. That's gonna be eye-catching and more creative. I noticed they removed the camera setup and the video template at the Attack on Titan session. The one they had last year was good for creating UCG and social media buzz. It's easy for people to just scan the code and get a pre-made video without further editing needed, and they can just go ahead and post. I also want to mention that the route design was awful. The corner where Attack on Titan, Blue Lock, and the Ghost in the Shells meet were too narrow. So once there are more than two groups of people standing there, there's gonna be full-on traffic jam. Also, why were the Ghost in the Shell video sessions and the Tachikoma exhibition so far apart that flow made no sense to me? Then Blue Lock, what a letdown. I saw the installation and for a second I thought it's the Blue Lock man soccer practicing game, but nope, it was just a photo backdrop with the soccer prop. If it were me, I will make it interactive. I'll make it into a game where people can just kick if they score a goal, and then I'll give them stickers or any souvenir. It's gonna be fun and great for marketing too. But there's nothing engaging in that area. The Ghost in the Shell videos, it has potentials, but again, it felt half-baked. They had a whole year to prep. The videos for it just only last for 5 seconds. They could have painted the wall to look like the real interior of a Tachikoma, or just simply add lights, wind, sounds for a cheap but fun 4D event. They missed out the opportunity there. Another weird thing, they didn't even bother setting up something special for the mangas whose creator was actually invited. Show the original draft, add some props in it, or ask the creators to draw a shikishi board to celebrate the exhibitions, or even just reuse parts from the Otakoi exhibitions in Japan, copy and paste, but they didn't do anything. And now about the cafe, bro. No one mentioned how overpriced the drinks were. They were $11.50 before tax for a drink with topping and just renamed after a manga. Kodansha is literally one of the giant in Japanese publishers. They know how collabs cafe works in Japan. If they're not charging for a ticket, they can easily make additional profit through creating collabs in the cafe and bring some brand awareness out of it. You can just add cup sleeves, selling special cafe collabs, badges, acrylic stands that are exclusive to the cafe, and that way I can actually feel that $11.50 was worth it. Got a limited edition collectibles to take home, but instead I just walked 2 blocks away to Blank Street and get a matcha for half the price. Now I'm gonna give the credit to where it's due. The manga reading area was lovely. It was super comfy and they bought a good variety of titles. But the wall next to it, I feel like a total waste of space. If I were running the marketing, I would use the wall to feature upcoming manga. I'll let people to preview some new artists, new manga, and drop feedback cards where people can write on it if I have the money, I'll put a vending machine there. People can insert the card and it will drop us stickers in return. That is a cheap engagement and useful data. Kodansha is doing events like having editors here to proofread work from US artists, and they also are planning to do a manga academy here in the US. They could have approve some works, and to test out the market of it, they can just print a few preview booklet and put it on the wall. People can just read and provide feedback to it, because whoever coming to Kodansha house to read, they are the target audience that Kodansha is aiming for. It's the perfect timing where everyone of their target audience will be here. They will dedicate the time to read and give useful feedback. They are the walking data. So if I were there, I would use it to test out the market. That's going to be another social media content post. I can also make it interactive. I can use it as a space where people can just doodle, and I'll invite the artists to also draw and sign on it. So that could be a lot of posts and photos time to create some buzz on the internet instead of just leaving it blank. Moving to the basement, again so underused. The arcade games, they are the same as last year. I thought they learned from the lessons. The machines only let one person play at a time, and the turnover was quite high. They should have used claw machine or gashapon machines filled with Kodansha merch, which allows for a quicker turnover and give the visitors something fun and collectibles. This will also provide additional revenues for the event, and the whole idea of claw machines and gashapon fit the anime culture really well. And there's also an empty bar area in the basement. They could use it for Ravel, Ichiban Kuji, or recreate a manga scene, maybe like a Watakoi office setting for people to take pictures. Anything will be better than just leaving it empty. Alright, let's talk about the signing event. So long story short, I didn't get a signing spot. I went there 2 weekends in a row, both Saturday and Sunday. Waited in the standby line for Watakoi and Fire Force, but there's no luck for me. That's fine, because I respect everyone who showed up earlier, even though I really want to meet Fujita Sensei, but that's cool. But I did get into the Fire Force Q&A session. I was sitting close to the entrance. The conference room was just a curtain away from the arcade area and the crowd, so it was so noisy that I can barely hear from the microphone. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think the host did a great job in terms of hyping the event and guiding the flow. There's no elaborations on the questions. There were questions that I thought is really good, and I was like, I want to know more, but the host didn't elaborate anything. He just reading off from the question list. Even the interpreter lady kind of interpreting and then ask add-on questions. I was like, yes, please, thank you. That's all the question I want to ask, but the host didn't do anything. These manga creators, they are more introvert, and they kind of answer really general. So I feel like the responsibility of the host is to dig into the conversation, make it deeper, because how often you'll get a chance to do this kind of interview sessions. And why did they remove the live drawing part from last year? That was one of my favorite part, watching the artist sketch in real time while answering questions. That really helped keep everyone's attention focused, and I enjoy watching artists doing live drawing. I like to study their brushstroke, and I like to see how they start off a sketch. I can learn from their drawing process. The last part in the sessions where people can line up to ask questions is kind of awful too, because the room was really packed and there was full of capacity, so it's really tight to walk over other people's. And there's so many staff standing next by, so would it be hard to pass out a microphone? I don't think so. The only thing I'm gonna complain about the standby line is the Sunday for Otakoi. That day was brutal. It was a stormy day in New York with strong winds, rain, and a sudden drop in temperature, so it's freezing cold. Kodansha only had 30 standby tickets per event, and instead of telling people beyond the 30th to cut off and go home, they let everybody to wait for hours in the storm. So I got there around 9:30 a.m. and I was the 25th person to get a ticket. And let me remind you, there was a long line behind me. Under this kind of weather conditions, if I were the manager, I will show more empathy. I'll either let people wait inside the venue, or I'll offer hot water for them, or I can tell people beyond the 30-ish, because there were more than 50 people waiting there in line. I'll tell people there's only 30 tickets. You can choose to wait to become a standby of a standby, or you can go home or enjoy the day at New York Comic Con before it was too late. That Sunday was the last day of New York Comic Con. I sacrificed my ticket. I give it up because I really want to meet Fujita Sensei. But if I were told early, being honest with me, like upfront by noon, that I won't be able to get a chance, there's only very limited spot, I would just go straight to New York Comic Con and enjoy the rest of the day there. Instead, we were waiting outside in the windy day, and we were filmed for content, so we kind of feel like we're being used, honestly. This is only the second year of Kodansha House, and I'm still grateful that they even do events like this in the US. It's a rare experience, but it's just sad to see less effort and creativity than last year. If anyone from Kodansha House, you're watching this, seriously hit me up, DM me. And I'll see you guys again next year.